Sterling High School, Greenville. While my mother is away in New York City, a fire sweeps through her old high school during a senior dance. Smoke filled the crowded room and the music stopped, and the students dancing stopped, and the DJ told them to quickly leave the building. The fire lasted all night, and when it was over, my mother's high school had burned nearly to the ground. My mother said it was because the students had been marching, and the marching made some white people in Greenville mad. After the fire, the students weren't allowed to go to the all-white school. Instead, they had to crowd in beside their younger sisters and brothers at the lower school. In the photos from my mother's high school yearbook, The Torch 1959, my mother is smiling beside her cousin Dorothy Ann and her other side with in her other side there is Jesse Jackson, who maybe was already dreaming of one day being the first brown man to run for president, and not even the torching of their school could stop him or the marchers from changing the world. Faith. After my mother leaves, my grandmother pulls us further into the religion she has always known. We become Jehovah's Witnesses like her. After my mother leaves, there is no one to say the children can choose their own faith when they are old enough. In my house, my grandmother says, "You will do as I do." After my mother leaves, we wake in the middle of the night calling out for her. Have faith, my grandmother says, pulling us to the darkness. Let the Bible, my grandmother says, become your sword and your shield. But we do not know yet who we are fighting, and what are we fighting for. The stories Cora tells. In the evening now, Cora and her sisters come over to our porch. There are 3 of them, and 3 of us, but Hope moves away from the girls, sits by himself, but out in the yard. And even though my grandmother tells us not to play with them, she doesn't call us into the house anymore. When she sees them walking down to the road, maybe her heart moves over a bit, making room for them. A colorful mushroom grows beneath the pine tree, purple and gold and strange, against pine-needled ground. When I step on it, Cora and her sisters scream at me. You just killed the devil while he was sleeping in his own house, Cora warns me. The devil will soon be alive again, she says. He's going to come for you, late in the night while you are sleeping, and the God y'all pray to won't be there protecting you. I cry as the sun sets waiting, cry until my grandmother comes out, shoos Cora and her sisters home, holds me tight, tells me they are lying. That's just some crazy southern superstition, my grandmother says. Those girls must be a little simple not knowing a mushroom when they see one. Don't believe everything you hear, Jackie. Someday you'll come to know when someone is telling the truth and when they are just making up stories. Hall Street. In the early evening, just before the best light for hide and seek takes over the sky, it's Bible study time. We watch from our places on the front porch, our cold hands cupped around our hot chocolate, half gone and sweetened at the bottom as brother and sister from the Kingdom Hall make their way up our road. Pretty Monday evening, my brother from the Kingdom Hall says. Thanks, Jehovah, the sister from the Kingdom Hall says back. We are silent, brother Hope, sister Dell, and me. None of us want to sit inside when the late autumn is calling to us, and frogs are finally feeling brave enough to hop across our yard. We want anything but this. We want warm biscuits and Tag and Jacks on the porch. Our 2 long sweater sleeves getting in the way sometimes, but we are Jehovah Witnesses. Monday night is Bible study time. Somewhere else, my grandfather is. Spending time with his brother Verdi. Maybe they are playing the harmonica and banjo, laughing and singing loud, doing what's fun to do on a pretty Monday evening. Jehovah promises everlasting life in the new world, the brother from the Kingdom Hall says, and brothers Hope, sister Dell, and me are silent, wanting only what's right outside, wanting only this world. Soon. When the phone rings in my grandmother's kitchen, we run from where we are, jumping from the front porch swing, climbing out of the mud-filled ditch out back, running quick from a picked-clean garden. But my brother Hope is the fastest picking up the phone, pressing it hard against his ear as though my mother's voice just that much closer means my mother is closer to us. We jump around him. Let me speak. Until my grandmother comes through the screen door, puts down the basket of laundry, cold and dry from a line, takes the phone from my brother, shushes us, shoos us, promises us a moment with our mother soon. How I learn the days of the week. Monday night is Bible study with a brother and sister from the Kingdom Hall. Tuesday night is Bible study at the Kingdom Hall. Wednesday night is laundry night, the clothes blowing clean on the line above. My grandfather's garden when no one is looking. We run through sheets, breathe in all wonderful smells the air adds to them. Thursday night is ministry school. One day we will grow up to preach God's word, take it out into the world, and maybe we'll save some people. Friday night we are free as anything, Hope and Dell's bike skating along Hall Street, my knees bumping hard against the handlebars of the red three-wheeler. One more year, maybe Dell's bike will be mine. Saturday we are up early, the watchtower and awake in our hands. We will walk like sleepy soldiers through Nickeltown, ringing bells, knocking on doors, spreading the good news of something better coming. Sometimes the people listen. Sometimes they slam the doors or don't open them at all, or look sadly down at me, ribboned in starch, my face clean and shining with oil, my words earnest as anything. Good morning, I'm Sister Jacqueline, and I'm here to bring you some good news today. Sometimes they give me a dime, but won't take my watchtower in a week. Sunday it's watchtower study at the Kingdom Hall, 2 hours, sitting and sitting and sitting. Then Monday comes and the week starts all over again. Ribbons. They are pale blue, pink or white. They are neatly ironed each Saturday night. Come Sunday morning they are tied to the braids hanging down past her ears. We will wear ribbons every day except Saturday, when we wash them by hand. Dell and I side by side at the kitchen sink, rubbing them with ivory soap, then rinsing them beneath cool water. Each of us dreaming of the day our grandmother says, "You are too old for ribbons," but it feels like that day will never come. When we hang them on the line to dry, we hope that they'll blow away in the night breeze, but they don't. Come morning, they are right where we left them, gently moving in the cool air, eager to anchor us to childhood. Two gods, two worlds. It's barely morning and we're already awake, my grandmother in the kitchen ironing our Sunday clothes. I can hear Daddy coughing in his bed, a cough like he'll never catch his breath. The sound catches in my chest as I'm pulling my dress over my head, hold my own breath until the coughing stops. Still, I hear him pad through the living room, hear the squeak of the front screen door, and know he's made it to the porch swing to smoke a cigarette. My grandfather doesn't believe in a God that won't let him smoke or have a cold beer on a Friday night. A God that tells us the world is ending so that y'all walk through this world afraid of, as cats. Your God is not my God, he says. His cough moves through the air back into our room where the light is almost blue, the white winter sun painting it. I wish the coughing would stop. I wish he would put on Sunday clothes, take my hand, walk with us down the road. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that everyone who doesn't follow God's world will be destroyed in a great battle called Armageddon. And when the battle is done, there will be a fresh new world, a nicer, more peaceful world. But I want the world where my daddy is, and don't know why anybody's God would make me have to choose.